listening to Not So Live from Asteroid G, the podcast that absolutely will smash everything in existence. I'm your host, Mike Finkelstein. Joined with me in the booth this week is, of course,
Josh Schaefer.
This week we are talking about the Hulk, which seems more relevant right now while She-Hulk is now running on Disney+. Like, Hulk is a character that I don't know that anyone really gets, like, super gung-ho about. I know he's popular in comics, but does anyone in movies really care?
I think they would if it wasn't for the fact that Marvel screwed up that franchise three times. Yeah. Because you had, I forget, who was the first Hulk? It was Edward Norton. Eric Bana, yeah.
And then Ed Norton. They only found the right guy the third time around.
And he hasn't had his own solo movie yet.
Well, he can't because it's tied up with Universal still.
Oh, for real?
For real.
Did not know. That explains it.
The movie rights to solo Hulk productions are tied up with Universal. He can appear in other movies as part of the Avengers, but he can't have his own unless they go through Universal.
Oh, yeah. Okay.
Which is surprising that a solo She-Hulk show was okay, because you're like sitting there going, if a She-Hulk show is okay, shouldn't a Hulk show have been okay?
Yeah.
Fucked if I know.
I don't understand. Entertainment law is the most confusing stuff on the planet.
Yeah, because you can have a license for a movie, but that doesn't necessarily mean you have a license for, like, direct-to-video movies.
Yeah.
Or you can have a license for a movie, but you don't get the license for a TV show. You might get the TV show, but it doesn't cover an animated TV show, and none of it covers animated movies. It's fucking stupid.
Yeah.
And then all of that was aside, you could still do, like, a podcast with pictures, and that's not covered by any other license.
Yeah.
Like, I feel bad for studios who are like, I'm buying the Hulk, and you're like, I got a tiny sliver of what the Hulk actually is.
I have Bruce Banner. No one wants Bruce Banner.
No one wants Bruce Banner.
I wonder what if they change the name, because now it's Smart Hulk, so they just call it Smart Hulk.
I
think they could get around that.
I think they've called him Bruce a couple times, though.
Yeah.
But he is Smart Hulk. Just, it's not Hulk, it's Bryce Banner.
So do the Harvey Birdman method.
I'm the Bulk. It's a different character entirely.
And I'm the Sulk.
Oh.
They can't see me stick my thumb out.
No, you're just hitchhiking down the road.
I'm hitchhiking. A sad walking away thing. Lou Ferrigno, I forgot about him too.
Well, I was going to say, since we're talking the Hulk, we should go over the Hulk, which I think we've actually talked the Hulk once before.
Maybe.
Way back. I remember vaguely discussing the fact that the second Hulk movie, The Incredible Hulk, had some files at the start that vaguely referenced the previous Hulk movie that isn't in continuity, but kind of is in continuity. So, but there's a lot of Hulk out there that no one ever discusses.
Yeah.
No, the TV show was popular back in the day, but no one talks about it anymore. It even had one of the first appearances of Thor.
Yeah.
Ooh. Mm-hmm. And then you have, the two movies that no one likes.
Mm-hmm.
And now you have a TV show that actually, aside from various Hulk appearances in the Avengers, is probably the most popular version of the Hulk that we have.
Yeah, I really like what Mark Ruffalo's done with it.
Ruffalo's good, and I have to say, Tatiana Maslany, is that how? I don't know.
I don't know how you say it, but I think that's right. Yeah, it sounds right.
Her is Jennifer Walters.
Yes.
Yeah, not Waters.
Walters. I think it's Walters. Yeah,
it's fine. Whatever. Her She-Hulk is really good. I think the biggest issue I have with it is the fact that, and maybe this is you've read more comics than I have from Marvel. She-Hulk, when she's in She-Hulk form, doesn't look enough like Jennifer when she's in Jennifer form. She's taller and green, that I expected, but the face is wrong somehow.
In the comic books, it's the same.
Is it?
Yeah.
She looks different?
Yeah. You want to be able to tell them apart. Or you could tell them apart.
The Mark Ruffalo one looks like him in either form.
Yeah.
Bigger and bulkier and greener, but the same.
Yeah.
So it's kind of weird that she doesn't.
I think it's the glasses.
She doesn't always wear glasses on the show, though.
No, I was talking about Mark Ruffalo.
Oh.
Because the Hulk wears glasses.
Does he wear glasses when he becomes She-Hulk?
I think so. Yeah.
I think he'd kill it as She-Hulk. I'm just saying.
He's Mark Ruffalo. What can't he do? He can throw a car.
It's interesting to me though with She-Hulk, and I think we're running into this stupid woke thing again with the fucking MRA assholes. But She-Hulk comes out and is almost immediately torn into by everyone.
Yeah.
on one side of the audience because it's She-Hulk and they find every weird little thing to nitpick. I watch the show. Admittedly, I'm not a comic book person for Marvel, but I watch the show and I think it's amusing just for what it is.
I thought it was cool.
Watchable.
Yeah. It wasn't... The CGI is probably my biggest complaint.
CGI has never been Marvel's strong suit.
No.
They purposely underpay and sweatshop their CGI people, and it sucks.
Yeah, but like it wasn't so awful where it distracted from it or detracted.
I mean, her as She-Hulk in CGI form is still better than just swapping in whatever random actor they had for Bruce Banner in the original show and making Lou Ferrigno play him.
Yeah.
Like, we're just going to hire a 6'2" bodybuilder and he's the quote-unquote Hulk.
Yeah.
Like, okay, it's bad. And give him a really terrible brown wig.
Bruh.
Hulk smash!
Oh, Lou Ferrigno.
I know that's his claim to fame. He's a much better actor now that he's no longer the Hulk.
Yeah. When he shows up, he's been...
amusing. Yeah. So...
And he was a nice guy after I realized he wasn't a dick because I didn't realize he was deaf when I met him.
Oh.
I thought he was being mean to me. And then my wife was like...
That explains the way he talks.
Yeah.
I did not
She's
realize
like,
that.
Yeah, I didn't know. I was like...
No.
She's like, how did you not know? Why would I?
Why would I know this?
He's
He's the Hulk. He doesn't do anything else. It's not like he's going out there talking about how he's deaf all the time.
Yeah. She's like, it's no. And I'm like, okay, I'm sorry, Hulk.
I knew Siren on American Gladiators was deaf because she made a big thing about it, and they like waved their hands to show her they were applauding. Like that. No, you don't see people wandering around waving their hands at Lou Ferrigno.
He probably beat us up.
I mean, people probably do. You just don't see it.
Yeah. So what you're saying though is we need a relaunch of American Gladiator.
Yes. I mean, we need one that NBC isn't controlling because they really fucked up the last one from like a decade or so ago.
Was it like early aughts?
Yeah, something like that. It was bad with like Hulk Hogan on it. It was terrible.
Yeah.
Like it missed the point of American Gladiators. She-Hulk does not miss the point of She-Hulk.
No,
it's good.
No.
It's interesting to me though. Like, okay, so I've bitched on the website and on this podcast about the fact that I feel like Marvel doesn't have a fucking clue what they're doing right now. Phase 4 is a mess.
Yes.
And it's like, on the one hand, I really want them to figure out this multiverse thing and actually make a threat worth watching. At the same time, a lot of their standalone stuff, which often is what they're good at, has felt lackluster.
Yeah. Or it starts off with, like, I really liked Ms. Marvel.
Yeah.
And then it just ended.
Out.
Yeah. It just
like just pollen in the wind by, like, episode 4.
Like, I didn't hate it, and I'd still watch a second season of it, but...
It would have been better as a movie.
Yes.
Like, shortened and made as the movie. Like, of all the stuff they've produced, I've only liked Loki.
Loki's been good.
Which was good.
WandaVision was good. I like
WandaVision was good. WandaVision, like, then those are self-contained weird little bits.
Yeah.
And then Hawkeye.
I still haven't watched Hawkeye.
You need to watch Hawkeye. That one was good. But that's like 3 heroes, all of whom were established and didn't have any major things going on. Like, they weren't, like, trying to tie into some larger continuity on their own one.
Yeah.
Falcon and Winter Soldier drowned under the weight of what it was trying to do. And it tied into a larger continuity.
I really wanted to like that one, too.
I wanted to as well. She-Hulk. Ms. Marvel was... Moon Knight was at times.
I really liked Moon Knight, but I don't... It felt like a waste because I don't think they're going to do anything with it, and it didn't change anything.
They are talking about doing a second season now.
Oh.
Like, what's-his-face has said he's willing to do a second season, sort of, kind of, maybe having and hawing around it.
Well, that's just called he wants more money.
Well, but it's also the thing of, okay, so wherever that's not even on the 3-phase plan they have out right now. No Moon Knight. So either they're going to shove it in somewhere in a couple years, or we're not going to see the second season of Moon Knight till like phase 7 in like 2030.
Oh.
Yeah.
I hope that it's like just one of those super guarded secrets and he's just going to show up.
Yeah, I think it'd be better if he just showed up as one of the Avengers or in like some other movie or something.
Yeah.
Yeah. Him and Scarlet Scarab or whatever it is. Yeah.
She was honestly cooler than Moon Knight was.
Yeah.
I liked her.
I think what's interesting, though, for She-Hulk is that despite, Incredible Hulk being in continuity, it's basically never acknowledged.
Yeah.
Like, no one talks about it. General Grant, is that his name?
Mm-hmm.
He shows up, but he almost acts like a different character from the first movie. And then, like, Betty Brant... Oh, General Brant, then, I guess. But Betty Brant doesn't show up at all. Like, Liv Tyler and her character is just gone. Never to be acknowledged again. Ruffalo obviously took over the role. And then all the events up till She-Hulk were just never talked about.
Yeah.
Nothing. And then suddenly the Abomination is back.
Didn't the Abomination showed up in not Doctor Strange, Shang-Chi, I think. Didn't he? Because
You're
Wong. Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
I just thought that was a weird random demon thing.
No,
but you're right.
that
Was Abomination, wasn't it?
Yeah. Because Wong was like rehabilitating him or something.
That explains the second episode of She-Hulk then.
Yeah.
Like, I guess that kind of puts this further back on the timeline?
Yeah.
The Marvel timeline is fucked up.
It's because they're doing TV shows.
So I guess this runs concurrently, even though that came out 2 years ago or something like that?
Maybe a year after, timeline-wise?
I don't know.
No, it'd have to be at the same time.
Or soon thereafter, because the footage is released. So
yeah, it'd have to be right after Shang. See, and that was probably of this era. Shang-Chi was... I love that movie.
It's a good movie. And again, peters out.
It peters out in the end. But
it worked.
Marvel,
it worked.
I think.
Yeah.
But I want... they have so many good characters. I just want them to use them. Where's Shang-Chi been?
Hanging out at Kim's Convenience.
Oh, yeah. And then you have this new Doctor Strange movie, which was just...
It was okay. It was good for what it was, but it didn't feel like it really opened up any avenues. It just kind of existed.
It's like Scarlet Witch is dead.
And we have, America, who really didn't get much of an introduction I don't care that much about.
Which sucks, because in the comics, she's really cool.
Seems like she could be really cool here, too. The movie just didn't know what to do with her.
Nope.
No.
But it was cool kind of seeing as much as I hate Dr. Richards.
Yeah.
But it was
Reed
cool.
Richards.
It was cool seeing Jim Krasinski being him. Or John Krasinski?
John Krasinski. His character was Jim.
Yeah. But it also, there's a big thing online right now where they're trying to get the dude who played Dwight Schrute, Rainn Wilson, to be Doctor Doom.
I like that.
I think it's kind of funny.
But they don't do anything except hang around in an office park all day.
Oh yeah, and they just argue with each other.
And then pranks are played on Doctor Doom. Yeah, that's all. That's all it can be.
I'll get you, Richards. Who put my gauntlets in Jello?
That was my mask. What'd you do with my mask?
I need to breathe.
And then he cuts off the face of the CPR dummy to wear it in place. Okay, that's enough of that.
Yeah.
But no, so back to She-Hulk, though. I mean, obviously, we haven't seen the whole of the show. It could just peter out as well.
Yeah, but 2 out of 2's not bad.
Yeah, I don't feel like the ire thrown towards it yet is valid. And I don't feel like there's anything on the show itself. The character's well written. Her asides to the camera are odd. Did she do that in the comics?
The what?
The asides to the fourth wall breaking.
Oh,
asides
yeah.
To the camera. She did in the comics. Then that's part of the show as well. That's just naturally just part of what she's doing.
Because it looks like they're using the Dan Slott. He wrote She-Hulk.
Sure.
And it seems like they're using his tongue in cheek because it was kind of funny. But I feel like that's the avenue they're going down, and if they continue down that, it's going to be pretty decent.
Well, this goes back to what we were talking about before about the fact that Kevin Feige is always have to say the name wrong. Feige. Kevin Feige is not a creative.
No.
What he sees is he sees characters he wants to put into a certain order, and then he goes and he grabs a chunk of comics from the original runs and be like, "This was popular, adapt this." And they get to put their own little bit of a spin on it, but there's a specific storyline each time, or an era or something, that he says you need to adapt this.
Yes.
So in this particular one, the Dan Slott, his writing is what's inspired the show.
I think so, yeah.
So, fourth wall breaking, that for her character, Tatiana Maslany is great in the role. I mean, and you can't go wrong with Mark Ruffalo. There's nothing offensive about the show itself. So any ire thrown against it is just MRA guys not liking yet another female superhero, which there's been a lot of them this phase.
Yeah. Well, I was thinking about it, right? So I teach business, right? So I talk about business and read about business a lot.
No.
I know.
Really?
Yeah, capitalism. Woo!
Woo!
But I was thinking, so if memory serves, I was at the comic book store still when Marvel first started Phase 1.
Yeah.
And I remember talking about it in the same vein as like Transformers. You know, it's like they just need to sell more toys.
Yeah,
that's why Disney's doing
part of it.
That was a big part of it. They wanted to sell male-oriented toys. But what I think happened though is Disney accidentally tapped into a market of young girls who can identify better with these types of characters than their male counterparts, because up until recently, every female, I guess, role model was like a Disney princess or something. Like it wasn't like realistic, but boys had, or males, I guess, had all these characters that they could potentially relate to, but girls were like, "Oh, I'll never be a fucking princess."
I'm just saying, as a girl, I identified with the Xenomorph Queen.
Yeah, me too.
Yeah.
Best Disney princess. Well,
she was a take charge feminist hero. Okay.
Yeah. Yeah. She was protecting her brood.
She knew what she wanted.
She's a boss bitch. There was white people kept telling her what to do.
Right, and she just did not take it.
She did not take it.
Did not.
And then she gets slammed out of the airlock for what?
Fucking white people, man. That's gentrification.
That's gentrification.
Right yeah.
Going back from that previous podcast, gentrification and gerrymandering.
So, but I mean, there was something to be said for that. Like the few times that they put out a female toy, quote unquote, Black Widow, and like a whole line of Avengers figures. One, she was mostly a chase figure because dudes wanted her.
Yeah.
But when they had a toy out for her, the girls had something to buy. The reason why we didn't get a Black Widow movie until Phase 4, when it made no sense anymore because she was dead, was because of Perlmutter, who's like, we're not going to sell female toys to dudes. Let's not have female action heroes because it's not going to sell to dudes. Which misses the whole point that the demographics were backing up women watching these movies and buying the stuff too.
Yeah.
So, we're getting a lot of it now. I think we're getting maybe... I don't want to say an overcorrection, but definitely a very heavy course correction.
Yeah. Well, and I think there was just like a societal change at some point too. And because like, since I hang around with Gen Z kids a lot, because I'm a teacher, not because, you know, nothing
not
untoward.
Because you're like violating your
I'm not violating my parole. But
my restraining order against the school.
But a lot of the girls, like, when I was in high school, it's like, yeah, I read comic books, nerd, you know, that type of stuff.
Yeah.
But now it's like, the kids who don't read comic books are the ones that get made fun of.
Because they're not keeping up with what's current.
Yeah. So it's a real bizarre cultural shift from what, like, when we were in high school.
So this actually, relating to a previous podcast, this shows what's wrong with Euphoria. While they're doing drugs and drinking and having sex, they need to be reading more comics.
They need to be watching anime anime.
Oh yeah, anime. Well, anime is weird because it's so nerdy, but it's been popular for like 10 fucking years or more. Toonami is what did that.
Yep.
All the kids growing up watched Toonami. And now they're way into fucking anime.
You missed that, Mark.
I did.
You missed it.
I was never going to be into it. I'm sorry.
It's okay. You can be wrong about some things.
I tried to go back for Becky and watch an episode of Digimon, and even she was like, "Oh my god, this is bad. Why did I like this?"
You should watch. Like, you'd probably like Berserk. You should give that one a try. It's dark and brooding.
You guys can't see the look I'm giving him, but it is very much a look of it's never going to happen.
There's demons, and there's a lot of violence.
The sigh I give cannot be as heavy as my soul right now. You know, we've had this conversation.
I know.
We've had this conversation.
I know.
I've even tried to watch Marvel anime, and I couldn't get into it. It's all bad. It's all anime. It's all bad. Blanket statement.
I like anime.
Don't care. It's interesting, though, because let's say they bring Deadpool back in, and he starts talking to the camera, and then he meets up with her, and she's talking to the camera. What the fuck are they going to do then? Has that happened in comics? Do we know?
I don't recall.
Feels like it should.
I'm sure it has.
Now, what I really want, of course, is for Deadpool to get back in so that we can get Gwenpool.
Yes.
Yeah,
Gwenpool.
That would be a fantastic show. But then I'm also a big fan of the thought of just taking like the Sony Spider-Man 1 or Spider-Man 2 and just editing Deadpool into it over top of like with one of the comics, you know, where he just traveled back in time and was drawn over top of Spider-Man. I would just love, like, you know, Ryan Reynolds would do it.
Well, he would do anything.
I would love
Deadpool.
to see that. But like, it'd be interesting to have all these fourth wall breaking characters on a show together. She-Hulk and Gwenpool and Deadpool.
That'd be so hard to write, but so entertaining if done
Just
right.
get Neil Gaiman to do it.
Hey, he could do it. He could do it.
He wrote a show that cascaded, or a comic that cascaded on itself like 7 layers down of like meta storytelling. He could do this.
This is probably a walk in the park for him.
Yeah, he's like, these 3 characters? Whatever.
Just 3?
Give me something hard to do.
We're going to have Ambush Bug from the DCU come in too, just to make it more interesting.
And it's going to take place on the plane of dreams. And
okay, Neil. I'm sorry I called you.
I actually don't know what Neil Gaiman sounds like, so I apologize if that accent was bad.
I don't know. In my head, he sounds like Alan Rickman, but with a higher voice. And I can't recall him speaking.
I thought Alan Ruck with a British accent, so...
So you went the other way.
I went the other way.
Apparently, there's only 2 types of British accents.
And it's all uplift from people named Alan.
Are you a Ruck or a Rickman? Are you a Rucky Brit?
And only certain people are going to understand we're talking about Cameron from Ferris Bueller's Day Off. Oh,
but I don't even think he's British.
He's not. He's from California, as far as I know.
Yeah. I'm a big fan of him, by the way, because growing up, people said I looked like Cameron.
You don't, but okay.
If I shaved, apparently I do.
You don't. I've seen it. You don't. It's fine. You do not look like the guy from Ferris Bueller's Day Off. I'm sorry. Nor the guy that was in charge of the Enterprise B for all of like 5
No,
minutes.
I was in charge of the Enterprise B. I went down as the worst captain of the Enterprise.
He did go down as the worst cap. He was terrible.
I felt bad for him.
Yeah.
Did you read that script, Alan? But honestly, if anyone from Paramount came to me and was like, hey, you want to be a captain? Yeah, of what ship? The Enterprise? The worst one?
In fairness, and this is completely unrelated to anything we were talking about, but apparently after Ferris Bueller's Day Off, for whatever reason, he got typecast in specific roles and couldn't get roles. Everything dried up after Ferris Bueller for Cameron. So he basically, I think I read that he, after like trying for 6 months to get anything else, after moving to down to Hollywood to actually be a star, he went back home to Northern California or something and was basically working in a furniture store.
Oh, wow.
For like years until finally another role came along that he got cast for. So him getting cast as the captain of the Enterprise B was probably a big step up for him, all things considered. He got to be in a Star Trek.
Which is so... Because he's such a great actor.
He's a great actor. Sad for him.
He's on my list of people I need to meet.
He'd probably be cheap to get for the MCU, if we want to bring it back to that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Who could he play? Anyone.
Just let him be someone goofy and weird.
Yeah.
Yeah.
He
could just run the bar that Deadpool goes to now, since they're not going to bring back, what's his name?
Mr. Calling a bomb threat on a train.
Exactly. That guy. He'd be good.
Yeah.
Anyway, She-Hulk. The point I was trying to make, and I think I got distracted from 5-7 minutes back, I actually like the show.
Yeah.
And I think it's one of the few that so far is simply working on its own merits without trying too hard. It's not trying to be anything.
No, it's just She-Hulk.
It's just goofy and just characters hanging out. And while maybe it's going to run out of plot and become kind of dumb eventually, right now it's off to a stronger start than just about anything that MCU has produced TV-wise than maybe WandaVision.
So if you ever get a chance to read the comic books, like, I think it ran for a while, but there's a lot that they could do with it.
I'm sure.
So,
and she's a TV actress. I mean, of all the people that they've brought in to do stuff, she's the most likely where you could sit there and go, okay, Tatiana, let's just keep doing seasons of you every 6 months, because that's all she does. Like, this is what... She's not a movie actress, although she could be. She's great.
Yeah.
But she did Orphan Black and some other stuff.
Which was great, too.
Yeah, she was on Parks and Rec for a few episodes. She's a TV actress. She doesn't have movie commitments right now that are going to get in the way. She could just do TV, and She-Hulk could just run. Yeah. Which I would be fine with.
I wish that the biggest complaint I have about Marvel is lack of consistency like that.
Now, that's especially the case with Phase 4. Yeah, Phase 4, like, the biggest complaint that we can come up with isn't where the focus is or what it is. It's just whether you're focused on a specific storyline or not for the whole of it, which the first couple phases weren't. The productions were consistent in style and tone. And this new one feels like they're scrambling to figure out what they're going to do with the MCU now that they're back from COVID. Your point from earlier. It feels inconsistent, rushed, and not well thought out, and going in 80 different directions at once. I mean, this is going to be the most stuffed phase we've had so far with like 20-something projects in it.
And none of them seem to do like
no, they don't amount to anything.
I'm connecting my fingers.
Yeah, they're all
right now.
They're all unconnected. The most connection we have is the vague idea of the multiverse. But even the Kang or whatever his name was, the villain, quote unquote, that we're supposed to get, was talked about in Loki and then hasn't been seen since. And that was 2 years ago.
Yeah, he hasn't been shown up.
Yeah.
No.
Now, Thanos didn't show up until the end of Avengers in like the first phase. But then he got regular mentions and stuff. Kang hasn't been talked about since.
Yeah.
Nothing. It's not good plotting.
No. I wonder if, like, Loki Season 2 was supposed to be out by now. And it just...
It's a mess.
Yeah.
It's a mess.
Because it just feels like all of them might connect in a way, but there's, like, a puzzle piece missing.
Yeah. It's just not working. Like, I'm still watching because there's individual projects that are worth it for at least a few episodes or for most of a movie, but nothing to hold a candle to like when the MCU was really firing on all cylinders. The one thing that's really good is the one thing Marvel hasn't completely made on their own, and that would be Spider-Man No Way Home.
Oof.
So, yeah, it's the Spider-Man movie, which is a co-production between Marvel and Sony, and it only worked. I mean, it was, honestly, if you go back and watch it, it's a little bit of a mess. But it worked.
It's still so fun, though.
Yeah, it's a cap to 3 different franchises of Spider-Man. That's why it works.
Yeah.
It has 7 movies of history there to draw from, and that is good.
And all the actors are great.
Yeah. So, I don't know.
There were parts of the script, like we talked about in our Spider-Man, where it was like, what?
Yeah, it's a little messy. It doesn't work. The magic is completely questionable, but... As just a celebration of Spider-Man, it was
fun.
Good. Yeah, it was really good. So
Spider-Verse.
Yeah, I'm still waiting for that. But that's not even Marvel. That's Sony.
Yeah, I know. Next year, I think.
I know.
Even though they've released the toy line.
I know. Well, because it was supposed to be out this year.
Yeah.
And you can't stop the toys.
Nope.
Anyway.
But Spider-Punk's going to be in it, so I'm excited.
So as long as She-Hulk can maintain the pace that it's had for these first 2 episodes, which are very strong 2 episodes... We may finally have another winner in the MCU's Phase 4. That would make, like, 3. Maybe 4 things.
4, yeah. Because Ms. Marvel, I really liked it, but the ending of it was just... Like, the last 2 episodes were so rough.
So petered out. Yeah.
Like, I just didn't... Like...
No, I didn't
care. I cared about her, but the villains were so dumb.
I didn't care about the villains. The whole plot line of her going back to Pakistan's past just felt shoved in there to do, like, a closed loop, which... When you look at how time travel is supposed to work as per the Avengers, it doesn't work. Nothing works. It's dumb.
Yeah, like, I didn't mind the Pakistan part. Like, I don't know why they had to time travel.
No, I felt like the Pakistan storyline should have been a separate TV season or a movie or something.
Yeah.
Like, it was a mess.
Yeah.
But so far, She-Hulk doesn't seem like a mess. In part because it feels like it's actually specifically guided towards something.
What that something is, though.
What that something is, who knows? But it's guided towards something and is focusing each episode on a very specific plot point. Like, the first one is her learning to be She-Hulk. The second one is her figuring out what her job is going to be. Mm-hmm. Third one may be figuring out what's going on with Abomination. Like, as long as they keep things focused, they don't even have to really build to a huge arc, because then you just have, like, Monster of the Week stories, basically.
They need that so bad in the MCU.
They do. They just need good episodes.
Yeah.
So, anyway. Anything else we want to Hulk out about?
Hulk smash!
Hulk out with your bulk out?
Yes.
This has been Not So Live from Asteroid G. If I were a big green monster, I'd be the incredible... I don't know. There's no other good words. We already did Hulk, Bulk, and Sulk. Is there anything else?
James K. Polk.
Ooh, I'd be the incredible James K. Polk. And you are...
Hulk Hogan?
Josh, Hulk Hogan Shaker.
America. But minus racism.
That's right, brother.
Brother.
That's all. Every other word that Hulk Hogan says is brother.
Oh, I miss 80s. It was so dumb. Part of me low-key liked 80s wrestling.
And we will see you next time.
Bye, brother.